Yeah,
Or
there was actually a commentary this morning that was talking about, this was just one of the early drivers. And he says, wow, he says, it's just absolutely amazing. He says, but my wife, who's not willing to even use it yet, she'll ride in the car with him, but she won't use it herself yet. She says, when it gets to unsupervised, she'll start using it. He says, so she's along for the ride. She goes, well, to me, it still has a little more jitters than 13, even after the two
Mhm.
updates. And so Elon just responded back. He says 14.2 will be the one that goes wide.
Yes, yes. And I wrote a post last week about the versioning and what I thought, and I literally posted this morning. I said, see, it is 14.2 because that's what I said last week. It will be 14.2. Yeah, so let's talk about the jitters or the brake
Yeah.
stabbing. There's another post I wrote about brake stabbing, which is what we're talking about here, roughly. So what's happened is, often when you have a brand new release like this, overall it can be a much safer release, but it's sort of like you built a much better human, but it's still an adolescent, and
Mhm.
it's going through the very first phases of getting tuned.
Mhm.
Right. So this is natural. Like it's nothing like I look at that and I go, it's not like a regression. They haven't gone, it feels like a regression. It feels like they've gone backwards. Like, oh, 13 was so smooth. But here's the thing. What was going on at 13? 13 was not operating as quickly from an inference and compute.
Right.
So it was smooth, but actually unsafe relative to 14. 14 is hyper safe. So these so-called jitters are sort of the lack of smoothing on the controls. Like think about what's happening here. If the inference stack at some inference cycle, like one cycle, looks at something and says, "Oh, I see that I need to apply the brakes because there's this vehicle." What's important is that the previous control values for the brake have to be fed back into that network to allow it to smooth it out, to
Mhm.
integrate the braking behavior over time.
Mhm.
Because you can't go from 0 to 1 on braking because you'll throw the
Yeah.
passenger out of the car or have them, slam forward into the steering wheel or whatever. So you've got to get that smoothness. Now, if you take the entire brand new stack, which 14 is relative to 13, retrained, started square zero, changed the internal architecture somewhat, um, and you just kind of get it to the perceivable finish line with a much higher degree of I just want to keep it out of the technical. Let's just call it higher degree of situational awareness,
Right.
higher compute, greater nuance and compute within the inference cycles.
Sure.
You're gonna have these problems. And so how do you address these problems? Well, Tesla engineering gets to the task. So what they know internally is we've got a safer version. It's just not as smooth and comfortable. And people are confusing that. They've got that reversed in their brains. They're like, oh, smooth and comfortable means safe. No, it means that with 13, they tune the heck out of it to its perceivable, to its finish line, but it's nowhere close to the new adolescent in 14 that will grow up to be a good teenager in 14.2, and then we'll be at adult level
Right.
at 14.3 and so forth. Yeah.